Hey guys, welcome to Mr. Suburbia. Today I'm going to be talking to you about why I spend so much money on my 6.0 Power Stroke diesel, on the bulletproofing of the motor. Since I've started the channel, I've got a ton of comments from people saying, why'd you do this that way, or why didn't you do that way, or you could have saved a bunch of money like this, you freaking moron. Anyway, you know, I appreciate all of your guys' comments, negative or positive. And yeah, I know if I had this to do over again, or if I knew what I was doing the first time, literally, I didn't know I was taking it in to have it bulletproofed. But if I knew that and I could plan it out, I would have done it a lot differently. So the story is, I bought the truck for $66,250. And if you guys watched my first video, I talk about that a little bit in there. But I bought it for $62.50, and the truck ran great. It had one problem, and that was when you let off the accelerator, it would die. So did a bunch of research online, and it sounded like either a throttle positioning sensor or the FICM or something of that sort. So I started doing a bunch of troubleshooting. I replaced some sensors in there. Actually, my wife and I did, and but the truck was running really great. I was driving it for about a month, no issues. If I had the tow haul button on, wouldn't die. So I figured it was a pretty simple fix. I took it over to Leadham's here in Colorado Springs. They're a great diesel mechanic shop here in town, and they put it on their computer. They tested everything, and everything was normal, except for they said that my deltas, which is my engine oil temperature and my engine coolant temperature, had about a 15-degree difference, and they also noticed some leaking oil out of the oil cooler, and they recommended getting that replaced. But at the time I bought it, it didn't have an EGR cooler, and it was deleted. The other thing they noticed was that it was tuned. It had a flash tune on the truck, and they said whatever kind of tune it wasn't written on the truck correctly, so it was causing the problem. And all I had to do was flash it back to stock, get another tuner, and tune the truck. And the reason I had to get another tuner was because I had the EGR deleted. So without the EGR, your truck has to be tuned for it to run. Anyway, I went and ordered a SCT Livewire TS. That's the tuner I have in the truck right now. That's one I've done a couple of reviews on. And then I also ordered a Bulletproof diesel remote oil cooler. So I was just going to have them put on the oil cooler, and then when they did that, they could flash my truck back to stock and then load the tune. Well, they had it, or I could do it, or whatever. That's besides the point. So anyway, I got the parts and I took it down to Leadham's to do the work. And the day I took it down to Leadham's, I started it up. I was actually at work for a couple hours, went out to start up my truck, had a really rough idle. All of a sudden, out of the blue, the day I was taking it in, idle was real rough, and it had a little bit of white smoke that came out of the exhaust when I started driving it. I knew right away that was probably a blown head gasket. Leadham's is only probably, I would say, about 3/10 of a mile from my shop. So I just drove real slow over to their shop and got it in, and they took a look at it, and of course my head gaskets were blown. So I had them do the ARP head studs, and that's how this thing is studded. And then once they took off the heads, they sent those into a machine shop here in town to make sure, to get them polished and make sure they were good. The machine shop found that both of my heads were cracked, so I actually had to order new heads, get them sent to the machine shop so he could polish them up and do all that stuff to get them back put on there. And then when they got even more into the engine, they noticed that my number 8 cylinder was completely fried, the crown was melted, and the number 8 injector was stuck into the block. They noticed that when they took off the heads. So that's how I spent so much on the truck. It wasn't like I had planned on going in there and having that work done. If I was planning on having the work done that I did to my truck, I probably would have bought a reconditioned motor. There's a company up in Denver that sells 6.0 Power Stroke motors, and they sell them with the ARP head studs. They sell them with the bulletproof oil coolers, upgraded injectors, whatever you want to put on there, they sell them, and they're about $6,000, and then you have to pay the labor to get them installed. And to me, that would have been a way better deal than having Leadham's tear apart my motor and put it all back together. So now you know. That's why I spent so much money. And by the way, the price was $9,632, somewhere in that ballpark. I'm not real I don't remember the exact number off the top of my head, but it was right there in the $9,600 and some odd dollars. To have them put on new heads, the LP head studs, new head gaskets, and I actually had them put a Bulletproof diesel EGR undelete kit on there, so this thing does have an EGR cooler on it. And real quick on that, because a lot of guys at the same time, you know, they saw the first video where I talked about the truck and the tuner, the first time I put the tuner on the truck, and they say, hey, you know, take your socket rag and get out of here with that EGR cooler on there. I'll go back and, you know, you can find the same information on Bulletproof Diesel's website. When the 6.0s were found to have problems with their EGR coolers, the only solution was to take out the EGR cooler. There wasn't a company out there like Bulletproof Diesel making a badass EGR cooler that you could put on your truck and it would solve the problem. So guys were just taking it off, and their trucks, it was fixing the problem with the faulty EGR cooler. And you do have some lower temps running without the EGR cooler, but Bulletproof Diesel came up with a solution that stayed compliant with the federal pollution laws, and so you can have a working 6.0 diesel with the EGR cooler, pass emissions, and you don't have to worry about that thing failing, because Bulletproof Diesel makes some badass parts. So if you guys live in a place like I do, that you have to take your truck once a year to get smog, and you're afraid that you're going to get popped for not having an EGR cooler, there is an alternative, and that's Bulletproof Diesel's EGR undelete kit. That's all I'm going to say about that. So, you know, where I screwed up was I should have probably taken it into the shop, had them look at the truck, find out what was wrong with it. Knowing that there was 230,000 miles on this thing, I probably should have went and bought a new motor. But I was staying hopeful every step of the way that when they called me, it was going to be the last time they called saying they found a problem. And it never was. And you know, for those of you out there that are saying, well, or thinking more like, well, that shop was probably trying to screw you over there, pal, because, you know, it's pretty common practice for shops to just call you and tell you they need, you know, Leadham's is a great shop. So if you guys are in town, I would check them out. The guys over there are great mechanics, and the owner's a great guy. A bunch of honest people over there. I don't doubt for a minute that what they said wasn't true. Also, I would go over there every night, just about because it was so close to my work, take a look at it. They would show me all the parts that were damaged. Once again, a bunch of really honest guys over there. And this is not paid. I just like the shop. Okay? I've not even got a big enough YouTube channel for people to be paying me, and I just really like Leadham's. I think they're a great bunch of guys over there who work on the trucks. So anyway, that's it for me, guys. I'll be back tomorrow with some even better news. Oh, you know, real quick, I wanted to say, I don't know if you can see, it is fucking hazy out here today. It is super, super hazy, and that's because there's a big fire burning in Utah, Bryan, Utah right now, and I'm in Colorado, so that's probably a good at least 400 miles away. I don't know, off the top of my head. And this fire was coming over here, and it smells like smoke, and it's all orange over here. So it's 11,000 acres have burned so far. It's been burning for 5 days. Last I heard, 750 families were evacuated. And I just want to let you guys know, if you are affected by that fire over there, my heart goes out to you. I could never imagine being in such a tragic situation where your home and the place you live is literally burned to the ground. You know, and I couldn't even imagine. So my heart goes out to you. If you guys are over there and affected by it, stay safe. If you guys are around the area of Bryan, Utah, it might be a really cool thing to go help them out. Do what you can do for the families in trouble over there, and don't forget to thank your firefighters. Anyway, that's it for me today, guys. I'll be back tomorrow with some exciting news. I do have some pretty exciting news about that bad boy right there. So enjoy the rest of the video, and you guys have a great day. watch that video of the burnout on my GoPro, and I'm sure it's gonna suck on the computer because I saw how bad it sucked on the GoPro. So I'm not gonna keep filming right now. I gotta get back because my wife has to take my daughter out shopping. But next time, I promise I will do a better burnout. But there you go. That's today's burnout. There's better ones to come. Deal with it.